Hi, class. Dr. Morton here. So I wanted to touch base with you briefly about Module 2, where we're going to kind of focus on conflict and collaboration across intergovernmental systems. So, Module 2, in this module, we're going to move from those foundational concepts of federalism to a closer examination of how conflict and collaboration emerge within intergovernmental relations and within intergovernmental systems. While shared authority can support coordination, it also creates conditions for tension when governments pursue different goals, when they operate with unequal capacity, or they interpret authority in conflicting ways. Understanding why these conflicts occur is central to intergovernmental relations in practice. So, Module 2 really focuses on the source of intergovernmental conflict across federal, state, local, and tribal governments. So, conflict often arises when governments share responsibility for policy areas such as public health, land use, environmental regulation, or public safety, but they disagree on the priorities, the funding, or even implementation strategies. So these disagreements are shaped by political incentives, legal frameworks, fiscal constraints, and administrative capacity. Rather than viewing conflict as a failure of governance, this module treats it as a predictable feature of decentralized systems. So, a key theme in this module is how power is exercised and contested across levels of government. So, state preemption remains an important mechanism through which conflict unfolds, particularly when states limit local authority in areas where local governments uh, believe believe that flexibility is necessary. And so, these dynamics are especially significant for rural communities where limited staffing, reduced resources, and geographic isolation can really intensify the efforts, or excuse me, not the efforts, but the effects of preemption and administrative mandates. We're also going to kind of expand the discussion of tribal governments in Module 2 and how tribal governments and intergovernmental relations work in practice. Tribal nations occupy a distinct position in intergovernmental systems because they're sovereign governments, they're sovereign nations whose authority is shaped by federal law, judicial interpretation, and historical power imbalances. So, conflicts involving tribal, state, and federal governments often center on things like jurisdiction, regulatory authority, and resource control. So, recent court decisions kind of illustrate how shifts in legal interpretation can alter intergovernmental relations and create new administrative challenges. So, throughout this module, we're going to pay attention to how conflicts shape collaboration. Intergovernmental conflict does not eliminate the need for coordination, right? But it often changes how governments interact and negotiate shared responsibilities. So in Module 2, you have three deliverables. You're going to complete the Module 2 discussion, you're going to submit your course spanning project proposal, and you're going to complete the APA quiz. As you work through this module, pay close attention to how authority is defined and contested across governments, particularly in rural and tribal contexts. So these themes are going to continue to develop in later modules. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me via the Canvas inbox because I am here to help. Thanks. Bye.